Hi, welcome back to Novelsnook. If you're new here, my name is Tori, and for today's video I will be doing the Goodreads tag. If you don't know what Goodreads is, basically it is a book community forum that you are able to track the books you're currently reading, see and explore new books, and ultimately create shelves collecting your book ideas, your reviews, and overall collecting the types of books that you want to be reading and books you already have read in the past. The tag answers a few questions about my experience with Goodreads. If you have a Goodreads, leave your name down below, and I love meeting new people on Goodreads. Along with finding new books, you get to meet authors and definitely a lot of new people on the booktube community, so it's wonderful, it's amazing. So the first question is, what is the last book you marked as read? And the last book I marked as read was Surfacing by Margaret Atwood. I just finished that book. It was amazing. I really liked it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. There were some points in the novel where I was a bit confused, and then it kind of tied together in the end. I wouldn't say it was perfect. Like, I don't think it was the best book I've ever read in my entire life, but I did like it, so I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I do recommend the book. However, there are different aspects of the book where I would suggest that maybe the reader be of an older audience. Definitely 15, maybe 13 or above. There is strong language and adult content, so I would recommend it of the older community, but that's alright. Older meaning my age, or probably even older than that. What are the books you are currently reading? I'm currently reading one. I'm finishing up the Nicholas Flamel series, The Secrets of Nicholas Flamel by Michael Scott. I'm on book 2, and I've been trying to finish this series probably for, I want to say, 2 years. I get sidetracked. The thing with series are, I find it very hard to finish them because there are new books coming and going. There are standalone books that I find very interesting, and I find them easier to read because I'm not expecting another book next. With the series books, you're expecting them and you're continuing on that journey, and it's hard for me to come back to it, definitely once I've left it and kind of pushed them aside, but I'm trying my best to finish reading that, so I'm on book 2, The Magician by Michael Scott. The last book I marked as to read on Goodreads was Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. John Green is probably one of my favorite authors. He has written amazing novels. The Fault in Our Stars was one of the first books I've ever read by John Green. It's absolutely amazing. He has written so many great novels. There are Paper Towns, Looking for Alaska, Turtles All the Way Down. With Turtles All the Way Down, I've heard a lot of controversy on it. People didn't like the ending, people were bored with it, but I've also heard amazing reviews, and I think that goes for any book. Any book is going to have that diverse review of it, but I really want to get reading it, and that's the last book I added to that shelf. The next question is, what book do I plan on reading next? And honestly, it just depends. Whatever I'm in the mood for. If I'm in for a romance novel, I'm going to read a romance. If I'm interested in finishing a series, I'm going to try my best to finish the series. It's basically whatever I'm feeling. If I'm feeling up for a book adventure, I might dive into many books at one time. It all just depends on my current mood and what I'm really feeling. I really love The Handmaid's Tale, so I wanted to dive into more of Margaret Atwood's books, and so that's why I decided to read Surfacing. So it all just kind of depends on where I am and once I finished a book and what I'm looking into reading next. The next question asks, do I use the star rating system? And of course I use the star rating system. I think that's a really great way for me to tell if a book is good. If it gets a 2 out of 5 star rating, that's when I become nervous and I'm afraid that maybe this book isn't worth it. It's the same way with movies, and I think anything in general. If something gets a great review, I'm more likely to look into it and really focus my time on that. But if something gets a bad review, that's when I become very cautious and like, I don't want to waste my time on something that people have already told me isn't as good as I'm expecting. So definitely use the star rating system. I try my best to be honest with my scaling. I think 5 is like, I've given a lot of books 5, and the reason why is because I like a lot of books. When I read something, I definitely want to give it its full potential, and if it definitely has something grabbing my attention and really having me gravitate towards that novel, I'm gonna give it a 5 stars. I don't think I've ever given a book a 1 star. I think it had to have been an awful, terrible book that begs me to give it 1 star itself, but I've never come across that, which thankfully is amazing because I never would want to see a book that terrible. So yeah, I've never came across a 1 star book. I don't even think I've ever read a 2 star book either. I usually give a book a fair chance to have it receive 3 or more stars. The next question asks, are you involved in a 2018 reading challenge? And yes, I am. I always do the reading challenges. I usually set the bar pretty low. Right now I have my goal set at 10. And that's because last year I set it pretty high and I wasn't able to reach that goal. But I set it for 10 because I think if you set the bar low, you can always achieve greater. You can always go above and beyond that goal. So with 10, I'm pretty set. It's already April. I've read 2 books, The Handmaid's Tale and Surfacing by Margaret Atwood. And I'm involved in a lot of different books right now at the moment, and once I finish those, oh great, I'll be right at my goal. But I'm in the middle of so many different books that I just need to finish them, and then I should be set. And it's only April. I still have time. I've got 8 more months where I can definitely do a lot of reading, and summer's coming up, which is a great time to read, and I'm hopefully going to be able to achieve that goal. Fingers crossed. The next question is, what book do I plan on buying next? This question I find interesting because buying books, I do it on very bad habits, where I'll walk into a store and if it has a pretty cover, I usually buy it, which is bad. If I could, I would buy all the books in the bookstores, but obviously, I can't do that. I don't have the space, let alone time, effort, and money. But buying books for me, I don't do it often. If I see a book and I like it and it's a good price, it's inexpensive, and definitely shows great quality, I probably will pick it up. But if it's a book I'm dying to get and it's been talked about and it has amazing reviews, I might splurge and go buy the book, hardcover obviously. But other than that, me buying books is something that I usually think about because I don't want to buy something and then never end up reading it. I just feel like that's a waste of time. So I definitely do plan and make sure that if I buy this book, I'm finding time to read it. So I don't know what book I'll buy next, but I will definitely share with you if I do plan on buying a book. The next question is, who are my favorite authors? Like I've already said, I love John Green. I really like Margaret Atwood. I've been reading, like I've read The Handmaid's Tale and Surfacing. I really like her writing. With me, it's not much about the authors, it's more about the genre. I love young adult. I really love standalone books, just something that's gonna capture my attention in one novel. I think that's amazing. So I don't really look at the authors. I don't go down a strict path of just reading one author's books. I find that constricting. So I usually branch out and definitely stick towards the fantasy and the romance and kind of keep that in my mind and not sticking with favorite authors. But again, I do have some favorites. John Green, Nicholas Sparks never seems to fail for me. I love his books. I love a lot of different authors, but I couldn't tell you. My favorite would have to be John Green. I know that's basic, but I love his books. But I don't have favorite authors, I more have favorite books, if that makes sense. And the last question that I have for you guys today is, how many shelves do I have on Goodreads? On Goodreads, I think you're able to make unlimited shelves. I know a lot of people make crazy amount of shelves. I only have 3. I like to keep it simple and organized just for me to understand. If I'm able to keep things to a minimum and minimize everything and have it neat, organized, I'm going to do that. So I have 3 shelves, what I'm currently reading, what I want to read, and what I've already have read. I like to keep it short, simple, and easy. Sometimes I'll go through and I'll pick my top 10 out of the books that I want to read and make that as a shelf, just while I'm looking into the books that I want to read next. But other than that, I usually keep it very short, very simple. 3 shelves are enough for me, and I think that if I ever had more, I would probably go crazy. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like I said, if you don't have a Goodreads account, you should definitely invest in one. It's simple, easy, free. It's amazing. You can track your books, track new books that are coming out right on the Simple Easy website along with the app. I love it. I just love tracking my books, knowing what page I'm on, knowing what books I'm currently reading, what I want to get involved with. It's amazing. They have giveaways, they have quotes from like favorite books, they have quizzes. It's amazing. I love Goodreads, and I love doing this Goodreads tag. If you like this video, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up and also subscribe. I love seeing new people, new faces, and new overall book community members. It's amazing. I love you guys. Make sure you guys check out the other books. I have a review on The Handmaid's Tale, because I've mentioned Margaret Atwood. Might as well mention the review that I did on her book on a previous video if you want to check that out. Anyways, I'll see you guys next week with another book related video. Bye! The next question asks, do I use? Hold on.